Hello, hi there, everyone. Erin Lee here of heavenlymessenger.com, and welcome to a Thursday night connection with intention. I'm just really quickly going to hop over onto, oh, good, there it is. Hopping over onto Instagram because we're trying something new this evening. I've never broadcast live this way to Instagram before, so we're going to give it a try. So currently, we're broadcasting to my Heavenly Messenger Facebook page, the YouTube channel, and also to Instagram. So I'm just going to flip back and forth um, to Instagram because apparently questions and comments don't come up the way that I usually see them. So we're going to give it a try and see how it works. So first of all, it is so wonderful to connect with you in this way. I'm really grateful for the time that you're taking out of your day to be here with me, especially as I posted so late in the afternoon that we were going to be live today, and it's on a day that we're not usually on. So today's connection with intention is all about coming as you are. It's been one of those weeks where energy just hasn't been there for me. Show of hands, who else has been really feeling that energy has been on the lows lately? Because I know I've been feeling and experiencing that, and I've been getting that in a lot of readings with clients as well. So like thumbs up or like raise your hand in the comments. Let me know. Have you been low? Um, One of the things that I've really been seeing is I've been seeing energy that I have to expend to share with other people in kind of a monetary way. And I'm not 100% fussy about likening it to money, but it feels like sometimes energy gets really low and you feel like you're kind of in a deficit and you don't have an awful lot to share and to give. And then suddenly you get a bit of a bump up and it's kind of like you've won the energy lottery. And suddenly you're like, oh, I've got lots that I can do. I can put lots of energy out right now. And your body's kind of like, no, actually, we need to first like build up our energy savings, and we've got other things that we need to take care of. Is anybody else in the same boat with me? Have you been feeling that you've been dragging a little bit lately? Because that's where I've been all week, and possibly for a little bit longer than that as well. So let me know. Awesome. I want to say hello to the people who are joining us. So right now I'm looking at people who are coming in from Facebook and YouTube. So hello to Catherine. It's so good to see you. And Carrie, I'm glad that you found me. It was a lovely surprise for me too. Margaret, hello. It's great to see you. I did send you an email back and I'll email you again tomorrow. Cassandra, hi. It's great to see you. It's been a while. And Cassandra, that's awesome. Cassandra saying, I've actually been feeling good and energized lately. I'm the oddball. You know what? I think that's awesome. And I think that there are times when some of us are low and others of us are high, and then it kind of flip flops. It goes back and forth. So enjoy feeling really good and being energized because that's amazing. And Carrie says she's 100% being all over the place. Yep, I hear you. Last week was full on. And this week, I feel like I'm dragging. Kathy, hello. It's great to see you. And Paula, it's great to see you too. It's been a while. And Becky, hello, joining us from Bali. It's so good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We don't have any comments coming in on the Instagram side yet, but I'm going to flip back and forth just in case. Another thing too, if you do join us on Instagram, the video isn't saved apparently. So on Facebook and YouTube, you can go back and you can watch the video later. That's not the case on Instagram. So if you ask a question and you're watching on Instagram, you have to stick around because you won't be able to get the video again later. And they're really precise. Apparently they cut off at an hour and sometimes we go longer than that. So just so you know, if you're joining on Instagram, that's what's going on. Yeah. So I feel like we should get right into the heart of things. There was more that I was going to talk about, but let's just do this. So I love to start off every show with choose your adventure crystal reading. And one of the reasons that I absolutely love to do this is because it gives everyone an opportunity to receive some messages, some guidance, some help with situations that they may be looking at. So take a moment and think about any questions you may have, and just, what is it that I need to know right now can even be part of the question that you ask. And these are the crystals that we have to choose from. So what you'll do as you're thinking about your question is just ask, which crystal represents the answer that I need today? So starting from left to right, on the left, we have obsidian. In the middle, we have rose quartz. And on the right, we have clear quartz. And I'm going to do something that I haven't done in a very long time. This past weekend, I was so fortunate to get a spot in the Alchemy of Gathering show. It was the first in-person show that I've done since 2017, 2018. And in a lot of cases, I haven't done readings really in person since we went into lockdown in 2020. So it was a lot of fun and exciting to be there. But all of my card decks, or a couple of my card decks, are still packed. And so we're going with a new deck of cards for the evening. They are the Archangel Michael Sword of Light Oracle deck by Radley Valentine. So this is going to be really exciting. So as you're thinking about your question and choosing your cards, I've got obsidian, rose quartz, and clear quartz messages. Awesome. And I'll just say hello to the people who have joined us. Hello to Bambi. It's so good to see you. And Bambi saying that her energy's been like a roller coaster ride too. Hello to JC and Andrea. It's so good to see both of you. And Carrie's got her choice locked in. She's choosing obsidian. And we don't have any comments yet on Instagram. Awesome. So I'm just going to pull this down. I'm going to assume everybody has their crystal. So if you chose obsidian, this is a beautiful deck. The box has been open, but I think it was open in one of my classes. So if you chose obsidian, the card that we have here is someone new is coming, and we have these beautiful doves that are heralding like feelings of peace. An important new relationship is on the horizon. Open your mind and heart so that happiness can enter your life. So this card is saying that the circumstances and situation that you're asking about will benefit from somebody else coming into the situation. Either they have a new perspective, new outlook, there's something new that they're going to be able to contribute, they're going to be able to help and support. And this could even be somebody that you're talking to. So it could be somebody who has some experience in what you're dealing with and is able to provide you some help, some support, some information. So keep an eye out, keep your heart open to somebody new coming into your life, into the circumstance and situation, and that this person is providing a sense of peace, a sense of ease, and opening to new beginnings. And so if this is a situation or circumstance where things are feeling really kind of tight and challenging, expect that this is going to help to open things up and create newness, new opportunity, new beginning, but again, with a very peaceful feeling to it. If you chose rose quartz, I love this card. You guys, this deck is so cool. I forgot to get the message. Open your heart. No one is perfect. Stop judging yourself and others and let love heal the situation. And that's so appropriate. I try not to talk too much about the crystals themselves, but rose quartz is all about unconditional love and acceptance and compassion. And so if you were drawn to the rose quartz crystal, the card that's coming up for you is saying, hey, we need to approach this with a feeling of love. We need to look for where there are opportunities to heal, to provide support to ourselves and compassion to ourselves, and where appropriate, support, love, and compassion to the other people who are involved in this situation. It doesn't serve anyone to be hard or to be harsh or to really stick to things. The situation is calling for and is asking for you for openness. And I'm also hearing communication coming up as well. And I'm reminded that communication is, 40% speaking, but it's 60% listening. And so in addition to finding place for love and compassion, also there's encouragement to open yourself up to seeing where you can listen better and to hear the other person's point of view inside of the story as well. And if you chose clear quartz for your message, this is the first card in the deck. All is in perfect timing. And I love how we have this pathway that's leading up to this door where there are beautiful opportunities that await on the other side. This is it. It's the time to take action now. I will be here because this is the Archangel Michael deck. I will be here to help you every step of the way. And so this card is actually calling you to make a step forward, to take action. You know enough about the circumstances and the situation. You are in touch with your intuition, your truth in the matter, and the message here is that it's time to take action. Everything is in place, everything is where it needs to be. The only thing that's left now is for you to be an active participant and to move forward with the intuition and what it's telling you. One of the things I was reminded of as I was talking with a really lovely client today, I won't name any names, but she's on the live and she'll know it's her, is the importance of paying attention to your intuition. And, I see that there are three really major steps when it comes to your intuition. The first is recognizing that you're getting an intuitive message. The second is understanding what that message is. And the third is then taking action on it. And so, like, if you're like, yep, that's an intuitive message and I understand what it's saying, but I'm not going to do anything about it, then things aren't going to change and happen. So it's really important that when you are guided to do something that's an action step, that you take action on it, because that's how things start to make change. So if you chose clear quartz, you're in your truth in the situation, and it's important for you to listen and to take action. Awesome. I'm going to open the floor up, and if you have any questions, I invite you to ask them now. Let me just, you guys, I don't know what it is, but I'm a little bit confused with there we go. That'll work. I'm a little confused. So let's take a look. JC chose rose quartz. Awesome. That's excellent. And we've got some questions popping in before we go to those. Nope. Instagram's pretty quiet, and so we'll just let them catch up. Awesome. So we have Heidi. Hi, Heidi. Thanks for joining us. Heidi's asking about health. Have been tired, low energy. Is my immune system weak? Cannot sleep. Okay, so let's take a look. So first of all, anytime health comes up, I always want to encourage you to connect with a medical health practitioner of your choice and choosing, whether it's family doctor or naturopath or acupuncturist or whatever. I do want to encourage you to always check in with a healthcare professional just to make sure, because that's not what I am, and that's not my forte. I can only give you what I see. So when I ask about what's going on, I'm getting a lot actually that feels like it has to do with the energy that we're in and that you're experiencing right now. So it feels like that's contributing to some of the tiredness. Some of that can have to do with change in weather. Also, like with what's going on in the universe, I think that we're full on in eclipse season, and that tends to be very stimulating and keeping people up. And so it feels like that's part of what you're experiencing. I'm wanting to check in with some sleep hygiene too, and making sure that you're doing things that support your sleep. So, for example, when in your bed or in your bedroom, that you're not like scrolling on Facebook or all of those really kind of basic things to make sure that that's in a good spot. I'm also hearing making sure that you're keeping up with your personal practices as well, because it feels like there either has been a shift or a slip in the things that you do. So this could be things like yoga or meditation or going for a walk or making sure that you're meal prepping, whatever it is that you do to make sure that your life is on balance. It feels like either A, there's been a little bit of a slip, or B, that there's need to add something more, something extra that's helping to support that overall reduction in stress. I'm not getting anything specifically on immunity. It does feel like there could be a couple of things that you're doing from a dietary point of view. So either changes that you've made that maybe need a little bit of tweaking, or something that you're adding in. And yeah, I'm not exactly sure what it is. I feel like this is a vitamin, like vitamin C is popping up for me. D and B vitamins are popping in as well. But I do want to encourage you to make sure that you're working with somebody who has some knowledge about what would be appropriate for your body and where it is. And I find for stuff like that, naturopathy has been my best support and resource. So I do want to encourage you to check that out and just to see what's going on. So Heidi, let's take a look and see what we've got coming up for you around that. So the card that we have here is absolutely beautiful. It's you're ready for more. And the message is your career is growing and blossoming. Now is the time to make changes that you have been contemplating. See, I wouldn't have necessarily gone to career with this one. I would have gone more to things that you're doing more in your spiritual life or things that you're doing for yourself on a health and wellness point of view. So if you've been thinking, maybe I need to incorporate a bit of exercise, doing something that is gentle feels like that would be helpful, like maybe getting back to the pool or doing something like walking. I'm not seeing you doing anything full on, but it does feel like you're ready to add something new into your schedule and routine that helps and supports you in feeling like you have more energy and supporting your body just in general. Heidi, I'm so grateful that you joined us this evening. Thank you so much for popping on. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Cassandra, it's always so good to see you. Looking for some direction career-wise. I have a decent job, just not what I really want for my career, life, and family. Let's take a look. So when I ask about career, I do see a shift and change that's coming, but I feel like I'm being pushed further and further into the future. I don't know if you remember going to the doctor when you were a kid and you'd stand on the scale and they had that little, the weight thing that would adjust to your weight and they'd thunk, thunk, thunk it over. That's kind of what I'm seeing coming up for you. There's this sense that the timeline is just kind of keeps shifting into the future. So I had initially something that looked like 6 months, and I'm looking at like a year. And then I'm looking at something that looks like it might be a year and a half out. And so that says to me that one, there isn't any really significant need to make a change. And so when change is made, it's going to be into something that feels really good for you. We're not just changing for the sake of change. We're changing into something that is your current career or better. And so not necessarily from like a financial point of view, but it's best suited to you or where you are now or better than what you have. When I'm asking about that, I am feeling that there's a bit of training that's involved with this, but I'm having a really hard time pinpointing exactly what it is that you're going into, because I do see something where you're helping and supporting others, but then there's also something else where I'm seeing that it's important that you're really focusing on using your brain and your mind, your intellect and intelligence. And I'm also seeing organizing, people. So yeah, I'm having a hard time seeing exactly what it is, but it does feel like it's something that fills you up. Your schedule feels like it's shorter, or that the hours are more predictable than possibly what you're working right now. And so it feels like it works better for your family life. When I ask about like money and finances, because that is important, it feels like it's pretty close to or comparable to. I think that the difference has to do more with the hours that you're working. So it feels like you might be on slightly reduced hours, which then translates to receiving less in payment. But what I'm seeing is that there are a lot of additional benefits that help and support that. So it could be that there are actually like benefits that are coming with it that are helping to bump it up, or that there is something that you're now able to do that you weren't able to do in the current position. So anyway, there are definitely benefits, and the timeline that I'm seeing, I feel like we're a year to 18 months out, where you're actually making like very concerted effort and you're making transition. As I was shuffling, this card popped out for you, and I haven't even looked at it yet. So you will manifest what you need. I love this. Um, Express gratitude as if your plans have already come to pass. Trust that your angels are bringing you the assistance that you need. I mean, Archangel Michael, which is who this deck belongs to, is all about life path, life purpose. And what he's saying is that you can manifest what it is that you want and what it is that you need, especially from a career position. So make sure that you're taking time to write out the things that you want to experience in your new career, in your new working experience. So that balance between work, life, and money and finances and all of it, and put that out there. Cassandra, it's always such a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Good vibes. I'm going to come back to you in just a moment. Yep. We don't have anything going on Instagram. So let's just take a look. Let me see. Why have I had so many connections romantically and almost romantically since July? So many past almost partners keep coming back to talk, chat, and connect. It's been weird since I have been decades hiding out per se. Why now? Is there one in particular that comes to mind? One I can't stop thinking about. Okay, so I noticed this as well, that there were a lot of old flames, old partners that were coming to the forefront, July, August, and even into September. And the sense that I had was that there was actually a lot of clearing that was happening. And so the question that I would actually have for you is, has something shifted for you in your love life, and or are you ready to invite a new partner and relationship into your life? This could also mean a new dynamic in an existing relationship, but more likely it's that we're opening to new partnership, new relationship. And I find often when old partners are coming up into our lives, it's because there's something that we need to still learn from the situation before we clear them off, clear them out. And they're not necessarily coming back in because we're going to reconnect with them as partners. So let me just see what we've got specifically coming up for you. Yeah, there is somebody who's kind of sticky. And by and by that I mean, like, it feels like this person's kind of sticking around a little bit more than any of the other ones. And so that's kind of, there is something more that's there that needs to be explored. I'm going to say that this person is sticky enough in that you're able to understand exactly who this person is, because probably you can't stop thinking about them, or they're kind of in the back of your mind and you're like, I wonder if this probably wasn't an overly significant relationship that you had. Like, it wasn't like a 4-year or 5-year romantic partnership and relationship. It feels like it's one that almost was, and you just kind of kept missing each other, because I have timing coming up as being important and significant. I do want to be open to seeing what comes of this. I'm not completely sold on this being somebody coming back into your life from a romantic point of view. It feels like there is something that is unresolved that you're still needing to look more deeply at. And that's again part of the releasing and the clearing process. It feels like this relationship feels like it's kind of convoluted. The timing also doesn't feel like it's quite right now either. And I'm flip-flopping as to whether or not this is going to be something that you're holding on and waiting for, because there's a really big part of me that's feeling like part of the reason all of these other people have come up is to help clear out and be clear in your mind that, yep, this relationship is over. And yeah, I learned that lesson. And now I know, because I experienced that, now I know for sure I want this thing, or I definitely don't want that thing. And it feels like that's a big part of the energy that's coming up, and that's being cleared away for you. So I don't know that this person that's feeling kind of sticky is somebody that's sticking around, because again, it feels like the timing isn't quite right. And I'm seeing that there's opportunity for somebody else that's popping in, but potentially that would be somebody that you miss out on only because you're focused on this other person. So make sure you're keeping your options really open. Oh my gosh. I love this deck, you guys. So if you see here, we've got what looks like a key, but it's actually Archangel Michael's sword. And the message is take control of your thoughts. Your thoughts are creating your reality. Have faith and stay focused on the outcome that you truly desire. So, not only is this a card of manifestation, but it's also really asking you to make sure that you're thinking about what it is that you want. And instead of looking into, well, I could make this work and make this work and make this work. Manifestation like this should be easy and it should be really straightforward, and there shouldn't be a lot of hurdles and hoops that need to be jumped through. And I think that that's part of the message that's coming up here is if this person that's kind of sticky has a lot of things that we need to like contort ourselves and to make it work, then that's part of the indication, the message that it isn't what it is, or it isn't what it looks like. But it does feel like there is relationship and partnership that is on the horizon. There's a lot that you're learning, and be open to it being somebody other than this person. It could still be this person, but be open to it being somebody else. Good vibes. I'm so grateful that you joined us this evening. Thanks so much for popping on. Sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. I just did a click over onto Instagram, and there's nobody on Instagram, so that's okay. Kathy. Hi, Kathy. It's great to see you. Kathy's asking, how will will Landon have a good experience at his dance competition? Yeah. Absolutely. When I tap into where he is and what he's doing, first of all, he's having a great time. He's just exuding really positive energy. He's really enjoying himself. I am seeing him placing in the competition that he's in. I'm seeing a lot of the focus coming up on, hey, like you went out, you did a really great job. You've done a lot to come to this point. And so like I'm seeing a lot of celebration that's coming up around him just for being in this place to be able to compete at this level. And I don't know exactly how like the competition ranks, but he's showing me that he's getting like one of the lower ranking medals or awards or whatever it is. So it's kind of like if we were going with the Olympics, you've got your gold, silver, and bronze, and then I'm seeing him like right there, right underneath. So it feels like he's just getting that recognition there, but the experience feels like it's absolutely incredible. And I'm also seeing that there's a lot that he's learning in what he's doing. And it feels like if he's not going back next year, he's competing at this new level, because it feels like this is taking him up a couple of notches from what he's done and experienced in the past. And it feels really exciting. Awesome, Kathy. Let's take a look and see what messages are coming up for Landon. Make a decision. Okay, so we've got we have the judgment balancing messages coming up. We've got heart on one side, feather on the other side. Are you choosing to prioritize yourself or another in this situation? Accept divine guidance pointing you toward your own joy. You deserve it. Joy is actually the message that I'm really resonating with for Landon as his message. The big thing that he is learning and experiencing in this is he's experiencing joy on another level. The thrill, the rush, the high. There's so much experience. Really feels like that is the focus of what he's doing, and that's the biggest thing that he's able to take away, and just to enjoy the whole process, because there will be others and he will do even better at the next ones. Kathy, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Andrea, it's so good to see you. You've been on my mind. And she's saying, of course, a certain someone reached out. I had to set amazing. I had to set some hard boundaries. Will this benefit and elevate us? Okay, so first of all, I just want to celebrate the fact that you have created boundaries, because that's amazing. And it does really feel like that's a big part of what's needed in this relationship and situation, is to say, hey, like, this is what I'm willing to give, but I need you to be giving back too, so that you're kind of on equal ground. Is this going to be something that benefits and elevates you? I'm A lot of my focus is coming up on it benefiting and elevating you as opposed to us. So it feels like what this is doing is this is helping to shift the dynamic. It's helping to create a precedent, and it feels like it's definitely helping and benefiting and elevating you in the situation. And that the other person who's involved has the opportunity to meet you where you are, or to fall off and fall away. But either way, it feels like you are getting benefit, because it's bringing clarity to the forefront, so that you aren't continuing to wait. But this person is saying, hey, like, yeah, I'm willing to invest in you. Let's do this. Or it becomes really clear that it's like, no, I'm not willing to invest, in which case you've won, because it creates room and space for somebody who does really honor you and respect you and wants to invest in you. Um, when I ask about actions, I am seeing a bit of a fall off. So it feels like it could take some time before you're getting a response. Um, as I said, the response does feel like it is really clear. I am seeing you needing to hold your ground, and I want to encourage you to ask questions, and to make sure that when the response comes back, that it's really clear what exactly their response is. So don't allow for space for you to kind of fill in what it means. Just be point blank and say, when you say this, what exactly do you mean? Or when you say this, do you mean this? Because I'm seeing you getting really clear and not leaving a lot of wiggle room for interpretation, because it feels like that's a big part of what's kind of brought you to this point. So be really clear and to the point, and make sure that you are being prioritized in a way that feels best and right for you. Let's take a look and see what we've got coming up in this relationship. Um, be honest with yourself. I love this. And you know what? The deception, the honesty card comes up so often for people in the Romance Angels deck. I'm just going to see what this one says, and I'm going to share that other message too. All your feelings, even difficult ones, have a message for you. Accept your truth, and then let source take it from there. I also see honesty as being really important, because until both people involved in the situation are honest with themselves, they can't be honest with each other. So, for example, if I'm not honest with myself about the fact that I can't stand the color green, and then when you come to me and you say, "Hey babe, what do you think about this green dress that I'm wearing?" I can't be honest with you and say, like, no, I don't like green. That's a really silly example. But both people need to first be honest with themselves in order to be able to be honest with the other person. And it feels like a big part of what's being called on here is for you to be honest with yourself about what it is that you want, what you're willing to accept, and what you need from this person, this relationship, and this situation to continue forward. And if those things aren't being met, being honest with yourself about what you do deserve, and being open to receiving that from another source in another place. It is always such a pleasure connecting with you, Andrea. Thank you for joining us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support, and lots of romance angels too, because goodness gracious, it is time, my friend. Yep, nothing else on Instagram, so we're going to keep going. Becky, it's so good to see you. Is there anything that will help me forgive my ex, myself, and release what is no longer serving me? Oh my gosh, these are the best questions. I love this. And that's also a doozy. Where are we going with that? Is there anything that will help me forgive my ex, myself, and release what is no longer serving me? First and foremost, I'm seeing you focusing on yourself, honoring and recognizing yourself. And it feels like once you come into a place where you are forgiving yourself, accepting yourself, and loving yourself, it's at that point that you can start to see compassion for the other person. And it's at that point that you can really start to move on and to move forward. So I would encourage you to go through forgiveness exercises, forgiveness for staying in a situation when maybe there were things that were telling you it was time to make change. Forgiveness for maybe not listening to your intuition and the things that you needed. Forgiveness for hurting yourself, allowing yourself to be hurt, allowing yourself to be taken advantage of. Whatever the case may be, moving into a place of forgiveness for yourself, recognizing and honoring that you were doing the best that you could with the resources that you had, and that there was a lot of hope that was in that. Because anytime we're in a relationship with someone where we aren't listening to our intuition, we're not listening to what it is that we need for ourselves, it's usually because we have a lot of hope for what can come. We have a lot of hope for the relationship and the partnership. We have a lot of hope for what can happen in that relationship, what that person can do. A lot of times people are falling in love with the potential of what a person can be. And it's important to grieve that when that doesn't come to fruition, and to forgive ourselves for being the beautiful, loving, and compassionate people that we are. It's really interesting to come into a place of self-love and compassion while at the same time forgiving oneself for being loving and compassionate and seeing the best that can be there. But when you ask about, how do I forgive my ex and release what's no longer needed? It starts first and foremost with you. And once you're able to forgive yourself, then you can come into a place where you can offer yourself compassion. And then you can offer compassion to the other person. And it feels like that's part of how you're releasing and letting go. And I am seeing tears and crying, and I suspect that there's already been a lot of tears and crying and cleansing and releasing. And I'm reminded of grief. Grief when we lose a loved one, when they cross over and they pass over to the other side. Grief exists where love, where we want to share love and we want to be able to give love and to receive love. And that's part of what's shifted and changed. So allow yourself to grieve and allow yourself to recognize that there is love that can no longer be shared in the way that you would like to share it. Does that make sense? The card that we have here, I was not expecting. The message that we have is increase your knowledge. And we've got like a tablet, we've got scrolls, we've got a notebook. Education brings opportunities. Take a course, pick up a book, or find a mentor to teach you what your soul longs to know. And so actually part of what this is saying, yes, there could be things that you're learning about yourself, but it's also saying, like, hey, we need to make sure that we're focusing on personal things too. So make sure that you're continuing to learn, that you're continuing to advance yourself, and that you are continuing to live, to do, to feel, to experience outside of what that relationship was. And Becky, I'm so grateful that you joined us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. And yep, we're still quiet on Instagram, so we're going to keep going. Alyssa, I'm so sorry. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name properly, but I'm grateful you're here. And Alyssa says that I'm struggling with some financial decisions. Help. Okay, let's take a look and see what we've got going on. Okay, so first of all, the imagery that I'm being given is like this. So that indicates that we could maybe have a little bit of frivolous kind of spending, or that money could be like just leaving our pockets really, really quickly, far faster than perhaps what we would like. So the first thing that I'm seeing is making sure that as you're making these choices and decisions, that you don't have like a leaky faucet for your finances. So making sure that you're tightening up on financial choices and decisions that may seem like they're kind of small, but that over time are accumulating. Not that this is what it is. I don't even know why this is coming up as a suggestion, but Netflix popped into my head. So I'm going to say take a look at subscriptions that you have and make sure that all of the ones that you're paying for are things that you're currently using. Take a look at your phone plan. Do you have extra data at the end of every month? Does it make sense to see if there's a less expensive phone plan? So those are the types of things that I'm talking about. Possibly not those specific ones, but that's the general kind of genre that we're looking at. When I'm looking at making decisions, once things are tightened up, I feel like there's the opportunity to make some really big choices. And it feels like we're looking at making a choice that feels like it's a pretty big leap. Like I'm feeling a little anxious about making this choice and making this decision, because it does feel like it's outside of your comfort zone. I do want to encourage you to make sure that you're, doing your due diligence in making this choice. I feel like it's important to potentially talk to somebody about this as well. So a professional who has experience in or knowledge in the decision that you're looking at making. But I am seeing you making a big jump and a big leap. Again, it feels like in order to make that step, you need to tighten up what's currently going out before you're making this really big leap. But it does feel like it's profitable for you. I do also really want to encourage you to make sure that you've got some sort of nest egg, because it feels like it does end up being a little bit bumpy at first. So it's not smooth sailing. So make sure that you're making plans for things possibly taking a little longer to come to fruition than expected. So it feels like we've got a financial expenditure that feels like it's significant. We're expecting something to come back from it. And then it just kind of goes like this for a little while. It's just like, we don't have a lot and we were expecting like this. So making sure that you've got the resources that you need to support yourself for 3 months or 4 months or 6 months or whatever makes sense for you. But it does feel like you're making a pretty big decision, or pardon me, a pretty big choice, a pretty big change. It feels like it's outside of the comfort zone, but in the long run, it does end up being really beneficial. So the card that we have here is the it's almost over card. Um, your current challenges will soon be resolved and you will be able to look at the future with a smile. I think that makes a lot of sense to what we were talking about, especially that last part, that, we do have a little bit of challenge that feels like you're currently experiencing. And after you make this decision, that we've got a little bit of uncertainty that comes up after that, but it's small. It doesn't feel like it's big, and that you're able to move forward feeling confident and comfortable in the choice that you've made, in the decisions that you're moving forward with. And financially, it feels like you're being supported. Yeah, Elisa, it was so wonderful to connect with you. I'm so grateful that you joined us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, lots of manifestation energy, and lots of abundance angels too. Like, get it. Let me just double check here. Let me see. Oh, and Cassandra, we did answer your questions. You were one of the first people we connected with. JC, hi JC, it's great to see you. Work is changing so much. I pray it is good change and we all adjust. And how is my son? Okay, let me just take a look. I'm going to only focus on the one tonight. I'm just giving everybody one question. So we have connected with your son recently. I'm just going to focus on work right now, JC. So when I ask about work, yeah, it feels like feathers are being ruffled. I'm seeing that there are things that are being moved around and switched around, and we've got new priorities and things that have been done this way for a long time that are working are now being changed. It feels like we've got pretty massive change throughout the whole system and the whole structure. It will calm down. And on the other side of it calming down, it feels like it's mostly good. It does feel like there are some things that were changed that once we're into the new change, it's like this just really doesn't make sense. And this is even after we've gone through the adjustment, because any sort of change will always have a period where people are becoming accustomed to the new changes and the way things are. And so I'm not talking about that. I'm talking on the other side of that. Once everybody is comfortable with the changes that have been made and we're in the system, and it's like, this doesn't really work as well as the old one did, or it feels like this hasn't been completed, like we're missing something in this, and it hasn't all been addressed. So it does feel like there are some additional changes that will come after, and after those second round of changes, things do feel like they're better, they're smoother, it's easier, but there is a lot of discomfort in the shifts and adjustments and changes that are coming in, just because things feel very new and we're changing so much. um, I also have some question that's coming up around stability in jobs, and that everybody who currently has a job continues to have a job on the other side of the changes. And it does feel like there's some shifts and adjustments that are being made. JC, I'm seeing you still having a position that feels like that's kind of a given. It does feel like your tasks are shifting and changing a bit. I want to encourage you to make sure that you're standing your ground when it comes to additional things being put on your plate, because it feels like that's a really easy thing to do. And so I'm seeing you just saying no. and I'm also seeing you saying that this is too much and I need help and support if this is something that you're going to put on my plate. And it feels like in that way that there potentially is additional safety that's coming up for other colleagues whose positions are maybe being changed rather drastically. But it does feel like on the other side of this, it does make sense. It's just really uncomfortable at the moment. March is coming through as being the time when things have settled down and we've made that second round of adjustments and things are feeling good. So just keep breathing, and don't be afraid to speak to what it is that you need. So the card that we have here, trust the guidance that you're receiving. This is Archangel Michael's message, and he's saying, oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. This is Archangel Uriel's message. Uriel has blessed you with a brilliant epiphany. I am also present to clear away your worries so that you can trust your divine guidance. So what this is saying is we have Archangel Uriel and Archangel Michael helping and supporting you. Uriel is helping you with ideas. And so again, please speak your mind and share your experiences, share your ideas and your knowledge. That's really important as changes are being decided upon and changes are being made. So speak your mind, and Archangel Michael is helping and supporting with that as well. And just really quickly, when I ask about your son, he's good. He's finding his way. I've got something that's coming up around a drum beat and a heartbeat. And so the next time that people are in the area to visit, have drums, because that feels like that makes a big difference for him. JC, it's always such a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. Catherine, it's so good to see you. Catherine's wondering, what should I do about our current home? Stay or go? So when I ask, okay, so I am being pulled away from home, but I don't know that we're being pulled away just yet, because there's something that home is offering to you right now that's feeling like it's really supportive, it's helpful, and it's a place of rest and ease. And it feels like your energy isn't quite ready to be making the level of change that I'm seeing coming up for you, it does feel like the spring is a time when things are feeling more advantageous. So I'm not sure if there's maybe something very comfortable and comforting about being in your home during the winter. I'm seeing something that looks kind of like a wood fireplace, and it feels like it's very cozy and very warm and very welcoming. And as we start to move into the spring and the summer months, it feels like things start to shift and we've got some opening that's happening. So I do see that there is a move that's happening, but I don't see it being something that's happening right away. It feels like we're kind of moving things into the spring of 2025, possibly even further as well. I'm hearing that timing may be coming into play. So I don't know if you have. Um, if there's something about the property that you have that makes it better to sell in the summer and early fall as opposed to spring. So this would be potentially particularly true if you've got a family home where there's the potential for children to move in and we're wanting to relocate in the summer as opposed to in the middle of the school year. But yeah, part of the timing that's coming up is for you from an energetic point of view, but also it feels like there's timing that's coming up around the property itself and the potential buyers. So start looking at the spring for a change, but enjoy your space during the winter. Okay, let's just see what message we've got coming up for you. Prioritize self-care. I love this because I feel like that's actually a little bit about what this message was talking about. You do so much for others. It's time for you to experience the love you deserve and let others help you. Again, like your home feels like it recharges you. It feels like it's cozy. It supports you. It loves you. It nurtures and nourishes you. So uh, enjoy the time during the winter while that feels like that really comes to the forefront, because it's time to rest and to relax and not to be focusing on making any really big changes. But yeah, it does feel like there's change that's coming, just not quite yet. Catherine, it's such a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Christy, hi, Christy. I was thinking about you the other day. It's so good to see you too. Would it be okay if I take um, Mil- I'm going to say a word because I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. For my chronic myofascial pain, do you see it being worth taking with not too much side effects? So again, anytime we're looking at taking something, I want to encourage you to talk to medical healthcare professionals because that feels like that's really important. And recognizing that hopefully they're able to weigh out the positives and the negatives, and make helpful recommendations for you. When I ask about this one, the first thing that I get is that does feel like we have some initial side effects that you need to overcome. I'm seeing something that looks like a 2 to 3 week period of time. So if you do decide to take this supplement, this medication, it does feel like you're going to need to kind of work through the initial side effects. But beyond that, it doesn't feel like it feels like your body adjusts and it doesn't feel like there are a lot of side effects. When I ask about the support, it actually feels like it is definitely creating some support and some ease in your body. And it feels like it kind of gives your body a bit of an advantage, so that some of the other things that you may already be doing are able to kind of get there and get some good support in. So, sometimes I liken it to when I have neck and back pain. And sometimes the pain gets to be so bad that even if I'm going in and stretching and doing other things, like it's not making a difference. But if I take an Advil or two, it just kind of dulls things enough that I'm finally able to get in there and to make some changes and adjustments. And it feels like that's what this offers to you as well. So it feels like right now there are already things that you're doing to help to support the pain that you're experiencing, to help minimize and negate it. And it's almost like there's just so much that you're needing a little bit of something that helps to get you over that hump. And then the things that you're doing really start to help. So the supplement, the medication feels like it's giving you a little bit of support, but it also makes everything else that you're doing better, makes it easier. it helps even more. And so I don't see this as necessarily being something that you're going to be on for a long time. And I would encourage you to talk to your medical health practitioner to make sure that that is the case, that this is something that would be safe to go off when it's no longer needed, or is no longer supporting you in the way that it does. And it feels like it allows for the other things that you're doing to come in and to make a really big difference for you. Let's just take a look and see what we've got coming up for you, Christy. What do you need to know about this supplement medication? It's interesting because I've mixed all the cards up and we've shuffled them. It's almost over card. Your current challenges will soon be resolved, and you will be able to look into the future with a smile. I don't know this deck of cards because, as I said, we're trying something new. But I don't think that I could have gone through there and picked a better card for you, because that's saying that the challenges that you're experiencing are going to get better. So will this supplement, will this medication help? Yeah, it's going to make it better. And then on the other side of it, you're able to smile, and it's going to be easier. So if you decide to take this, make sure you give 2 to 3 weeks for any side effects to come up, because it does feel like there are going to be some. But it feels like it's a reasonable expectation that within a relatively short amount of time that those side effects will subside, and then you'll start to experience shift and change and improvement. Chrissy, I'm so grateful you joined us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. Melinda, I was thinking about you the other day too. Thanks for joining us. I'm hoping you can share some words about my new business idea, helping other families that are in my situation. I'm trying to get the plan together. I love that. Okay, let's take a look and see what we've got coming up for you, Melinda. So first of all, I feel a lot of celebration. I am wanting to encourage you to explore this, because it feels like there are a lot of families in need who are um, chasing after their tails. It feels like you have progressed a fair amount in your family in terms of what you've been able to do, what you've been able to accomplish, and that there are a lot of people who are still looking for support and resources, and that you're offering something that helps to give them some guidance and to show them a path and to show them a way. Um, and I'm also seeing, I mean, there's so much that you're incorporating into it that feels like that's only a very small part. But I do see that there is a lot of opportunity and there is a lot of support, and you're really able to help and to make a difference. I'm trying to get the plan together. I just want to see what specifically you're asking for. In terms of getting the plan together, part of what I'm seeing you do, part of what I'm seeing that you're doing is that you're connecting with outside help and support. So it feels like this isn't just you on your own. It feels like you're getting outside help and support in terms of structuring and, what things look like from a payment point of view. I'm also hearing grants as well. And so I'm wondering if there is some sort of support that's coming in either from like healthcare or government or something. There's some sort of funding that's coming in, and it feels like that also needs to be included in your business structure as well. Time, space, and energy for writing proposals and looking for grants and other things as well, because it feels like that will be part of it. And I'm also wanting to encourage you to make sure that you're planning to have additional help, because it feels like that's going to be a big part of it. That just based on the size and scope of what I'm seeing, it feels like it might be difficult for you to do it on your own. So plan from the get-go how you're going to expand this, at what point it makes sense for you to bring somebody else in to help and support, and take a look at the things that maybe feel big and overwhelming and are outside of what you know. And so for stuff like that, I'm kind of seeing things like bookkeeping. Make sure you get a bookkeeper so that that's something you don't have to worry about. So you can put your energy and focus into doing the things that you really know a lot about, that you love, and that you really gravitate towards. So I want to really encourage you towards continuing with this, because it feels like you're really servicing a beautiful need in our community. Let's just see what Archangel Michael has to say, what messages he has for you. Your prayers are being answered. You guys, I love these cards. The message that we have here is your prayers are being answered. Your prayers are being received by the divine. Answers will soon come, although perhaps in forms you didn't expect. So with a message like this, it feels like it's important to let go of how prayers will be answered and just be open to, I need help and support. So, for example, one of the messages that came up was that you would be talking to somebody else about how to structure your business, how to make sure that you've got like time management stuff coming up, and it could be that that's coming to you in the form of somebody who would be a potential client, and maybe this is something that you guys are trading off on, or maybe it's coming through to you because you're talking about what you want to do with a friend, and the friend's like, oh man, I've got lots of experience in setting up businesses like this. I would love to help and support you in that. So keep an open mind to how prayers are being answered, but do know that they're being heard and the universe is contriving to support you in the dreams that you have. Melinda, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Gary, it's so good to see you. I often see that you've commented on the posts, but I don't think I've ever seen you ask a question before. So I'm really glad that you've branched out. It's awesome to see you. Gary says, my daughter Lily has moved back in with me. She's going through a rough time. Oh, I'm sorry. I was happy to let her stay with me, but I can clearly pick up on the pain she's in. My question, do I push her to open up more or give her space to find her path again? That's a really tricky one. And I just want to send a huge amount of love and support to you and to Lily, because this feels like this is a difficult and challenging time for both of you. Um, when I ask, I'm seeing a certain amount of tact that's coming to the forefront, and it feels like you are kind of approaching it with like, hey, like I can see that you're still in pain and that you're still struggling, and I want you to know that I'm always here to talk. But if you don't feel that you can talk to me, or you don't want to talk to me, I would love to help you find help and support outside of our relationship too, whether that's, counseling or art therapy or creativity or supporting with friends, whatever it may be. It does feel like Lily is in, um she's definitely in a tricky spot. But it also feels like she's got a certain amount of awareness that's coming up that she is in a tricky spot, and she does feel like she recognizes that she's looping, and so that there isn't a huge amount of forward movement, and that she's kind of in the same loop and in the same cycle. I'd encourage you to give her a little more time before you approach it, but just keep letting her know that you're there, that you are happy to help her and support her and to see her doing well and to thrive. I'm just going to go back to your question to make sure that I've answered it. Was happy to let her stay with me, clearly pick up on the pain she's in. Do I push her to open up more or give her space to find her path? Yeah, give her a little bit give her a little more space, because it still feels like there are things that are new. It feels like there could also be some things that she's already been trying and they're maybe not kind of working as well as she needs them to, but it also feels like it might be a little bit too soon. But it feels equally appropriate that if it seems like she's still in the same place in the next week or 2 weeks, that it's not unreasonable to offer some of the suggestions that we just mentioned. I am seeing a lot of support coming up for her through counseling and like art and creativity. I'm really wanting to take a look at some creative options that may be things that are helping her to process. So possibly supporting her in going art supply shopping. Or, I mean, we've got Christmas coming up in a little while. If she's got a birthday coming up or something similar, that possibly that could be part of a gift to her as well. It does feel like she is moving through this, but I'm feeling like we've got another 4 to 6 months before she really feels like she's on the other side. So, sorry, I should be more clear with with my wording. Before she's on the other side of this challenge and difficulty is what I should say. So we're October now, October, November, December, January, February, March. So sometime in the new year, January into March is when it feels like things are really starting to move forward for her and things are feeling easier, and that she's got a good handle on where she is, on what she wants to do, where she's going, and she's feeling pretty rejuvenated as well. I'm just going to pull a card here. Oh, wow, that's a big one. Where's, because I think this one's actually coming up for both of you. So the message that we have here is open up to your spiritual gifts. Remember that your true nature is spiritual, not physical. The angels are sending you messages to guide your soul, to guide your soul's growth. So I actually love this card and this message for both of you. I'm going to approach Lily first. For her, part of the challenge that she's going through and experiencing feels like it may be pointing her into, I need to start trusting my intuition. I need to start listening to my intuition, because when I connect with Lily and her energy, I'm seeing that she does have really strong intuition, but that it's been kind of shut down. It's opened up and shut down and opened up and shut down. And it feels like possibly she's being discouraged from experiencing and expressing that intuition as well. So I suspect that that's part of what she's going to learn. That's not the whole part of what she's dealing with right now rather, but it's part of what she's learning and part of what she's figuring out. And again, like, I see a lot of creativity coming to the forefront for her as well. I'm really wanting to encourage that creativity. But this card is also coming up for you, my friend, in recognizing that you're picking up and feeling other people's energy. It feels like you're incredibly sensitive, and you do pick up on a lot of what other people are feeling and experiencing. And it feels like part of what you're learning is navigating what you're experiencing while still being able to be present and to living your life. And this is a tricky thing to do, especially for those of us who are clairsentient, which means clear feeling. Um, and one of the biggest things that we can do is to recognize what is ours and what is not. So when you're spending time with Lily and you're hit with the waves of, I'm not okay, or I'm going through challenge, whatever it is that you're picking up from her, make sure that you're recognizing that that's hers. Those are her feelings. Those are her experiences. And thank the experiences for letting you know that that's still what she's going through. And then say, I don't need to feel this in my body anymore because I've got the message. Because I want to make sure that you're staying clear, because when you're clear, you're able to help and support her. But if you guys are both down in the dumps, then it doesn't help anyone. So know that it's okay to recognize, hey, I get it. I understand that Lily is hurting. I've got the message. I don't need to feel this anymore to be able to still help her and to still be a compassionate parent. Gary, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening and that you asked a question, because as I said, I've seen you for a while, liking, and know that you've been on and haven't asked. So I'm grateful that you're here. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support to you and to Lily too. Awesome. Bambi, hello. It's wonderful to see you. Thanks for joining us. I am trying to make some changes medically, yeah, with work, career, life, and how that all affects each other. Do you feel I will finally have good chances this month financially with work, which will help me in other ways? Okay. Oh, and Jen, thanks, Jen, for letting me know. Okay, let's take a look and see what we've got coming up. So I want to make sure that I've got the question right. So we've got some things that are happening on a medical level, and we're needing to balance that with work, money, and finances. And do you feel I will finally have some good changes this month financially with work, which will help me in other ways? Okay, so I think I've got the question. Um, yes. Yes, the answer is yes, but it feels like it's coming more towards the end of October. So we're just the beginning of October now. I've got the later part of this month is when things really feel like they're starting to shift. So I'm not 100% sure that you're actually going to realize the benefit of what's happening just yet in the month of October, but it does feel like as we move into November, like things are good. So, yes, that shift is happening. Yes, the shift is happening in October, but it's later in October, and it feels like it may not be exactly when you need it, but it will be good and set up for November. And it also feels like because of that, it's creating a bit of a cushion. Because it's coming in the later part of October, it's creating more of a cushion for November. And as we move into November, it feels like things are moving. It feels like we've got some stability that's coming up. And I'm seeing that continuing through November, through December, into January, into February. And once we come into February, things have shifted from a medical point of view to the point where the scramble that I see you experiencing doesn't feel like it's as significant. And it feels like you're able to get back into more of your norm, or that things have been set up to the point where we're just kind of rolling over. We've built up enough support that we're not feeling stressed about finances and trying to juggle and balance. So yeah, as we come into February, things feel like they really balance right out, and I'm not seeing like a push. Let's just see what messages are coming up for you in the cards, and we're just going to ask, what does Jen need to know? What does Jen need to know? I'm going to say about like life and finances moving forward. Yes, you are correct. I love this deck. This is so exciting. You have listened to your inner guidance and you've made a wise choice. Keep moving forward. I don't think that I could have chosen a better card for you. Do you feel I will finally have some good changes this month financially with work, which will help me in other ways? You've made a good choice is the message that we have here. So I'm going to say that either these are choices that you've already made, or there's something that you're thinking about, a choice that you're thinking about making. And I say that this is something that could still be in the works because I don't see it really coming to fruition until later this month. So keep an eye out. If you're like, Erin, there's nothing that I'm thinking about making a choice with or a change with right now, then know that it's coming up a little bit later in like the next week and a half. I'm seeing kind of about the 15th as being the time when this might really step into action. So make the changes rather that you're feeling guided to make now, and know that there might still be some more tweaking that you're doing a little bit later this month that's going to put you in a really good spot. Jen, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us. Thank you for hopping on. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Ruth, hi, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Lisa, hello, thank you. Lisa's asking, will my finances be stabilizing and job opportunities opening up? That's awesome. Let's take a look. So I'm wondering if job opportunities are the challenge, because I'm seeing like 2 or 3 jobs or positions or things that you're doing right now. I'm I'm not 100% sure though. I'm wondering if these are different things that you're doing that. Oh, hold on. I've been sneezing a lot lately. I think we're okay. But going back to the reading, Lisa, I feel like there are different things that you're doing that you're pulling lots of strings to make things happen and to make things work. And I suspect that that's part of the reason that I've got like 2 or 3 revenue streams that are coming in. So the question, I'm going to shift it into, will there be something that's giving me stability and support so that I can primarily focus on one thing, maybe 2 things, but where I'm not being divided and where I've got like regular support that's coming in. And yes. Will my finances be stabilizing? Yes. Will job opportunities be opening up? Yes. Let me just take a look. Job opportunities. There's something sticky about money that's coming up the end of October for you. And again, it's a similar timeline to what I was seeing for Jen just a moment ago. I have October the 27th to like the 30th is coming up as being kind of a little bit of a crunch time. So I do see finances stabilizing. It does feel like everything comes together for when you need money, but it feels like we've got a little bit of a crunch that's coming up towards the end of the month. So I do want to encourage you to hold on to as much as you can. And I know when you're juggling finances, that's easier said than done. But if there are any expenditures that you can put off until November that won't put you in a bad spot, that won't take away from the basic needs that you have that you need to survive, I would hold off until November just to make sure that you've got what you need for the end of October, because that's where we've got crunch time. As we move into November, things feel like it's smooth sailing. So I'm going to say that we've got new job and we've got paycheck that's coming in from new job. And that could actually even be part of what this is that the job doesn't come in until mid-October or a little bit later, and so paycheck isn't coming in until November, and that would make a lot of sense, because I've got money that's coming in November, and it feels like things are pretty smooth sailing. You're catching up on a couple of things, but you've got consistent money and paycheck that's coming in. If there are a couple of side things, side hustles that you're doing, if you're able to, don't let go of them just yet, because I am seeing you kind of building up your finances and creating a little bit of a nest egg. So if you're able to hold on to them, do, because it does make a difference as we move into the later part of 2024 and into 2025. But yeah, finances are starting to improve, and it feels like they're really starting to improve as we move into November. Let's just take a look and see what's coming up for you, Lisa. There we go. Change is coming. Oh my goodness, I love this. So we've got lots of transformation. We've got a whole pile of butterflies. Butterflies are all about transformation. It's about going within and like pulling from what's within and then coming out and transforming. I am here to guide you through this exciting transformation. This is a time of joyous opportunities. I love that. And I don't know if it's because I have issues reading sometimes, but joyous also looked a little bit like job. So I'm going to call this a time of job opportunities as well. So I'm going to say expect the best, expect miracles. And even though I've just said that I'm seeing crunch time towards the end of the month, this card feels full of transformation and magic and miracle and things happening. So don't get caught up in what I've said, and don't get caught up in what other people have said. Oh, you can't do that, or that isn't possible, or even if it's your own internal voice. Allow yourself to be open to miracles and things coming together much sooner and much faster and much easier than what we've just talked about, because that card says that it's absolutely possible. And so if it's possible, then allow it to be, allow it space and room to be. Lisa, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, support, and lots of manifestation and abundance energy your way as well. Awesome. So we've got Brenda here. Hi, Brenda. Thanks for joining us. What else should I do to conquer this pain in my body? Yeah, this is a big one. And I have a lot that's coming up. So I'm just going to roll with it. I'm feeling allowing yourself to get frustrated and freaking pissed off, because I'm tired, and I'm tired of putting a good face and a happy face on it. And I want to encourage you to let it out. So part of what that's telling me is that we may also be dealing with an emotional component here too. Holding back for other people, making sure that everybody else is comfortable before you are concerned with your own comfort. So I've got a lot of emotional processing and releasing that's coming up, and allowing yourself to prioritize yourself too. I feel like part of what you're asking for is like, what else can I do? Because I need something else and I need something right now. And I feel like you've looked in lots of different directions. Um, part of part of what I'm feeling is I'm wanting to feel and experience just a little bit of ease. I'm feeling and seeing floating, and I happen to know that Brenda is in the Comox Valley, and if it's something that's comfortable for you, I want to encourage you to check out the float house. There's a new float house that's opened. I haven't been there yet. It's on my list, and it's over kind of towards Walmart in that new area where they've got apartments up top and businesses down below. And I believe that they also have some sort of monthly punch pass kind of thing. I want to encourage you to take a look at that, because part of what I'm seeing is that it feels like your whole body is on fire. And I'm just wanting to have a space where there's a bit of peace and a bit of ease. And the reason that I'm seeing floating is it feels like it's taking pressure off of different areas. So, like, I've got physical, like joint and muscular pain, and my hope, my thought is in float that can start to ease and that your body can start to shift and to adjust. But a big part of what I'm seeing is it feels like there's a lot of emotion that's being held. And literally, I see you holding your body stiff in different ways because you're compensating for pain that's here and there. And it feels like there's so much that you're doing to compensate for this thing, which is compensating for this thing, which is compensating for that thing. And it feels like you are a beautifully complex and complicated, tangled ball of yarn. And that unraveling that is one, finding a little bit of peace in the pain you're experiencing. And then two, it feels like it's also dealing with the shit, excuse me, that's being held in those places. It feels like it doesn't feel like that's all of it, but it feels like it's part of what helps to create space and to open up for other things to start working. So it's kind of like the message that we had a little bit earlier for Chrissy, where she was asking about supplement medication. And it's like, yeah, that's going to create a little bit of space so that the other things that you're doing can work. And it feels like that's part of what this is, like float, and some of that emotional stuff creates space, creates ease for the other things to start working, because you've done a lot, you're doing a lot, and it's time for peace. Let's take a look and see what messages are coming up from Archangel Michael. He's been really spot on this evening, and I've been so impressed by these cards. I'll flash the card deck in a moment. But yeah, let's just see what message we have here for you, Brenda. Get your power back. Oh my goodness. That's get your power back. You have forgotten who you are. You are a child of the divine. So take back your power. That's huge. And feels like that is kind of piggybacking on some of those messages that we had at the very beginning. There's so much that you're holding on to, so much care that you're holding on to other people, so much stuff. I can't possibly let go of this, or I can't possibly say that because it'll hurt somebody else, or whatever it may be. And this card is saying, you know what, you can be hurt. You can take care of yourself. You are important. Take back your power. I love that for you. So look for opportunities in day-to-day life where you can take that back, where you can express what you're holding. And this is easier said than done. I realize that. And it may be easier to do some of that processing in writing, in journaling, in writing out story, and just seeing what comes up. It could also be really helpful to pose it as writing a memoir. And part of what I'm seeing is not actually writing, but it feels like there's audio. So either if you've got like an app on your phone, or you've got like a little recorder or whatever, it feels like this is something that you're able to speak about, and start with whatever pops into your head. And maybe this is something that you share with other people later, but that's not the purpose. The purpose is for you and is for healing. Brenda, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, lots of healing, and opportunity for healing, peace, and ease in your body as well. We have come to the end of our evening. I'm so incredibly grateful to each and every one of you for joining me this evening for the Come As You Are Connection with Intention. I'm Erin Lee of heavenlymessenger.com. If you'd like to connect for your own reading, pop over to my website, bookingwitherin.com. Also, I know it's silly to start talking about, we're barely into October, but I will be sending out Seasons Blessings cards again this year. I think I started back in 2015. And if you haven't received a Seasons Blessings card from me, or you received one last year and you've moved, pop over to Postable, postable.com/ Erin Lee, ERINLEE 2024. I'll pop it into the comments in a moment. And just send me your mailing address. I would absolutely love to be able to send you a card in the mail. I think that physical mail is really magical. And so often all we receive is bills in the mail, and it's kind of nice to receive a little something else. So thank you again for joining me. I hope you have a fabulous evening. And I look forward to connecting with you again really soon. Take care.